how's it going? My name is Harmony Nice and today I will be continuing my Enchanted Endeavours series, and this episode will be on how to cast a circle, or how I cast a circle. Since a lot of you guys throughout I've started talking about Wicca have been asking me how I personally cast a circle, since a lot of you guys say you feel like you're doing it wrong, or you can't get to grips with it, or you're completely stuck with it. So I thought it would be a very important video to do today. And oh my god, it feels so good to be sitting down and just filming again. Just so you guys know, there will be an Enchanted Endeavours episode up week, which is this one, and also one up next week for Lunasa as well. I wanted to do a video before Lunasa, so don't worry, that will be up before Lunasa actually comes around. So just so you know, there will be one up next week too. I just thought, since we have Lunasa, Mabon and Samhain all coming up, and if you are a Wiccan that hasn't actually learned to cast a circle yet, I definitely think it's an important thing to know, in my opinion anyway. So this episode will be all about how to cast a circle, basics on what actually casting a circle is, why you would want / need to cast a circle, and also I will be doing a step-by-step tutorial on how I personally cast a circle too. Also, before every single Wicca related video, I have to say that everybody in Wicca does things differently, especially when it comes to casting a circle. There is no proper way to cast a circle. We all adapt things, especially when it comes to casting a circle, to make it work for us. So just because a Wiccan does things one way, like I may do things one way, another Wiccan may choose to do it completely differently. This is just kind of a helpful kind of tutorial sort of thing to help you guys along that have like no idea how to cast a circle and really stuck with it. I know I've developed this method of casting a circle throughout my years of being a Wiccan to work for me. So once again, it may not work for you at all. You will develop different ways of doing things as your Wicca journey continues to make it right for you. So please bear that in mind. This is just my experience with the things, and everybody has their own way of doing things. And also, if you are here because you are a critic and do not believe, you don't have to believe in it, but you know, if you're here just to kind of hate on the whole thing that I'm about to do, maybe this just isn't the video for you. There's no point in watching it and getting annoyed with it. Just with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy this Enchanted Endeavours episode. If you do not see my last episode on Litha, I will put a link to my Enchanted Endeavours playlist in the description down below. So if you wish to watch them, then you can there. And let's just hop right into it. Starting with the absolute complete basics, what actually is casting a circle? I'm sure a lot of you guys are actually aware, since you may have seen a lot of different TV programs to do with witchcraft and witches, etc. casting circles. Casting a circle is casting a protective space around oneself or one's altar or semi-permanent altar, or just space that they are working in, before you cast a spell or do ritual work, or some even divination work too. The purpose of casting a circle is to not only direct and strengthen your energies within the circle during spell and ritual work, but also to keep out any negative energy or air, spirits or anything like that that may be trying to get to you and just like lingering around. The protective circle that you cast would keep things like that out. And this allows you to focus on your magical workings without anything negative or anything getting to you or to distract you. I personally believe the energy you are channeling in this circle is much stronger too, because nothing can get out either. So I feel like if you are just getting into spell and ritual work, this is definitely a crucial thing to learn, especially if you're having trouble with spells and rituals and you feel like they're being ineffective, or maybe you may be a Wiccan that hasn't actually heard about it yet and you're kind of having like a spiritual block and you feel like nothing's working. I definitely think casting a circle is very important. I do feel like you definitely should learn about it. Some cast circles before they do any type of ritual, spell or divination work. Some pick and choose depending on what type of spell and ritual work they are doing. It really depends on the Wiccan and what you feel is right. I personally do it depending on how I work with, but I do cast a circle the majority of the time before I do anything like that. But I personally think there are plenty of positives to casting a circle. So why would we want / need to cast a circle? So of course every Wiccan chooses to cast a circle for different reasons. I definitely feel like the effects of casting a circle make your spells and rituals and magical workings much more accurate, whereas some do not find it necessary at all. I haven't actually ever spoke to any Wiccans that do not find casting a circle necessary, but I have actually seen online that some Wiccans do not find casting a circle necessary. I don't know their purpose for it, but in my opinion, I just think it's quite an important thing. Everybody does choose to do things for different reasons, but to me, casting a circle is creating a safe haven in a place. For your energies, for your practices, it makes your energy that you're challenging so much more effective and stronger. Also just helping to banish any negative energies in your circle too, so nothing can kind of infect the area. Now we've discussed what casting a circle is and why you would want/need to. Now I'm going to be discussing and also showing you how I personally cast a circle. So there is loads and loads of different ways that you can cast a circle. Some people cast circles with different items you may have seen online and things like that, like stones, salt, twigs, crystals. I could go on forever the amount of things that you could use to cast a circle with, etc, etc. Some people just do it metaphorically like how I do it with like elements. But it genuinely kind of depends on what you feel is right. Some have one specific medium that they may use to cast a circle. Some people don't use anything. Some people do it how I do it, which you will see in a bit obviously. But you may feel there may be something specific that definitely strengthens your circle, you may feel connected to, and you may feel helps keep the energy in, whereas other people just work with the elements to create it. Sometimes, depending on the Sabbats and things like that, I like to try different things depending on what I'm doing. Some people choose things relevant to the type of spell/ritual work they're doing to cast a circle. It sounds really complicated, but it's honestly not. Once you see the tutorial, you'll understand. You will just discover what works best for you as your Wicca journey continues. So now that I've discussed these sort of things that you can also use to cast a circle and kind of how people determine on what they feel is right to cast a circle, now I'm going to be showing you how I cast a circle. Please remember, of course, this is one way of doing it. I cannot stress this enough. I'm going to be showing you how I cast a circle at a semi-permanent altar I have set up here, just because I tried to film it at my altar earlier today and it's so hard to be clear and get it on film. Much easier and clearer in here. So I thought it'd just be easier to show you on a temporary altar that I set up here. So this is the semi-permanent altar that I've set up to use for an example on how I cast a circle. This is not how I would usually set up a semi-permanent altar, an altar or anything like that. This is just an example purely for the base of this video. If you would like to see more on altars and you haven't got your altar set up or anything like that yet, I do have an Enchanted Endeavours episode on that, but again, the playlist will be linked in the description down below so you can watch that there. So what I have here to cast my circle is my broom, my incense and my incense holder, my chalice, my wand, my athame, some sage, some water and some salt, just so you're aware on what all of it is. So step one is to get rid of any unwanted air. The first thing that I do before casting a circle or even cleansing the space is I take my broom and make a sweeping motion around my altar and myself. This is done to get rid of all the old air and the energies that may be unwanted before I even begin to cleanse or cast a circle. And obviously if you don't have a broom, because not everybody's gonna have a broom to begin with, you can just use your hands. That's what I used to do, is use my hand and you can sweep away the energy with your hands like you would a broom. Obviously if you do have a broom, use your broom. A lot of people do this in different ways. Some people don't even choose to do this at the beginning. This is just personal preference. Sometimes if you're doing this outside and stuff like that, people do not find this necessary. So the second step is cleansing your circle. Next, we are going to our altar to cleanse the sacred space before casting our circle. What I like to use for cleansing the space firstly is water for the water element, salt for our earth element, and then also incense, or what I personally like to use is sage. I love to use sage for cleansing things much more than I do incense. It is just my personal preference, and I know a lot of people like to use incense, and that is totally fine. That is just my personal preference on it. And the sage that I'm going to burn will be a representation of the fire, and the smoke that will come out of it will be representation of air. We have all of our 4 elements there, and I'm also going to be using my chalice for this part, but I will get into that in a minute. Now I'm exercising the water that I'm going to be using. There are a lot of different reasons why people exercise water, but it does pick up different types of energies and things like that, especially if you get it from like public places, etc., and lakes and things like that. So I always exercise the water and I bless the salt and the chalice, and I'm using my athame to do this. And I actually currently cast all of my circles with my athame, just because I'm planning to renew my wand very soon. I'm actually planning to renew my athame as well. I'm actually planning to renew my wand sooner, but anyway, it's a very common thing, of course, to use your wand to cast circles. Definitely, I did use my wand for a very long time to cast circles, but now I use my athame. Or some people like to use their finger or a sword, etc. You can choose to do this in various amount of ways depending on how you work. So I'm not going to be showing you how I bless and cleanse the water, the chalice, and the salt. I will when I start talking about spell work on here. But there are tons of different methods, so do this before you cast a circle as you wish, as you normally would. So after I've exercised the water and blessed the salt and the chalice, now I take my chalice and I place a small amount of water in the bottom of the chalice, and then taking my athame, I place a small amount of salt in the chalice too, and I mix the two together and then wipe my athame clean after. So now that I've done this, it is time to cleanse the circle. So I stand up and I start standing in the east direction. This is just the direction that I like to start, and a lot of people do it different ways. This is just where I like to start. And going clockwise, I sprinkle the salt water around me, blessing the circle I'm going to be working in. And as I continue my way around and we're getting deeper into thought, I think about how the water is really cleansing the air around you. And some people close their eyes like I do quite a lot and kind of let the water kind of take you around in a circle as you're sprinkling the water. Let their body take them along and visualize this space becoming cleaner and more defined as you're going around. Obviously, like if you're closing your eyes, this depends how much space you have, but I have quite a lot, so I just kind of like to take my body around. So you do this until you reach your starting point again, which again is east for me. So once you've done that, you now take your fire and air element. So you either take your incense, or in my case, sage. So firstly, I light the sage and then I assume my position facing east once again. I use the sage and I wave it around in my hand in a kind of circling, dragging motion around the circle that we are going to be casting. I personally like to use sage because I feel like it's easier to kind of control and use and cleanse the circle with. I feel much more free using it, but once again, everybody's different. A lot of people like to use incense. Sometimes I like to use incense if it is a sort of relevant to the ritual, but again, it just depends. So now I've cleansed the circle with all the elements, water, earth, fire, and air. And at this point, in my opinion, is where if I was doing something like using a different medium like oats or salt, crystals, etc., like I said before, and this is when I would lay it down in a circle around me. Lots of people like to do it before they do the cleansing of it. Some people like to do it during instead. Some people like to do it afterwards, but personally for me, I would lay out if I'm using a different medium to, if I felt like it was necessary to make the circle stronger. So now, step 3, it's time to actually cast our circle. Now you cleanse your circle and maybe placed any mediums in position you might be using to cast your circle with. Now it's time to actually get into the casting the circle part. So now you can take what you're using for casting your circle, so in my case, my athame or your wand or your finger, etc. So now I would call upon my deities, or if I have a specific deity I would like to call upon, I would call on them now. And I may say something like, for an example, either a group of deities that I may be wanting to call on for it, or for a more specific example, Bellissima, the goddess of sun, fire and light. I call upon you to watch over this circle. You can say a lot of different things to call upon your goddess and goddess. It literally just depends on where you've learnt it, what feels right, etc. That is just how I choose to call upon my deities. Now it is time to create your sacred circle. Once again, I'm going to be facing the east, and the whole of the casting the circle is channeling energy within this magical circle. I do this by sort of concealing myself to the earth, and I do this by holding my athame to the east and visualizing. I project and feel all the energy within me rooting from the ground to the bottom of my feet, and imagine that I'm being connected to the earth underneath me. And I visualize from the top of my head to the bottom of my toes is holding onto the ground, and your energy to the earth is combining, and I concentrate on the flow of energy and I kind of just feel it within me. So now I'm imagining a white light coming from the bottom of my feet into my body and traveling through my wand. And I see white personally. People see tons of different colors. It kind of just depends. Don't worry if you don't see white. I personally see white. When casting a circle, there's lots of different things that you could say to cast a circle. Loads of different books say different things. Loads of different ways that you can learn or what you can say. But it kind of just depends what feels right to you. So for an example, I'll obviously tell you what I'm going to say. Firstly, facing the east, I say, element of air. I call upon you to watch over me while I work. I move round to the south, element of fire. I call upon you to watch over me while I work. I'm still continuing, I move to the west, element of water. I call upon you to watch over me while I work. And last, north, element of earth. I call upon you to watch over me while I work. And as I'm doing this, and as I'm working my way around and calling upon the element, I'm visualizing this white light that's coming through me and coming through my wand, creating this circle as I join each element. And lastly, I call upon the spirit element. I take my athame from above me and I kneel to the ground and place my athame on the ground and say, as above, so below, I call upon the element of spirit. Now you've cast your circle for your rituals, spell work, divination, magical workings, even some people even do this before spiritual connection and necromancy. And nothing negative, no negative energies that may be lingering around can get to you in this space. Energy that you're challenging during your spell work meditation, whatever you may be doing, will be safe in this circle. And now I've cast my circle, of course, you would do the spell, ritual, whatever sort of magical workings that you're going to be doing in the circle, but it's not over yet. After you have finished this workings, it's very, very important to close the circle. Almost just as important as it is to open a circle. I take my athame and firstly start by kneeling on the ground where I left off when I called upon the spirit element. And I'm dragging my athame from the bottom of the feet to the top of my head, and then I thank the element for its protection during my workings. This time I say, I thank the element of spirit. Now I close this circle. And as I'm doing this, I'm imagining beaming kind of white light that I envisioned before. And it's going back deep inside of me where it came from before, back through my athame, going anti-clockwise around the circle. I start by facing the east again where I started before, and I say, I thank the element of air. Now I close this circle. Then I face north and I thank the earth, west and I thank the water, and then I face south and I thank the fire, and etc, etc. And once again, I'm imagining this white light I drew to cast my circle disappearing back into my wand, through my body until I finish thanking all the elements. Then after that, I thank my deities that have helped me throughout my practice. I thank the deities that have helped me in my practice. And then the circle is closed. And then I like to kind of brush away the air again. Some people like to keep it, some people like to brush away the broomstick. I personally like to brush it away with my broomstick again. And that is it. It's probably a lot less complicated than you guys may thought it would be, but again, it's taken me a very, very long time to get used to this method. It's super, super hard to film and explain and talk about just because it's a very, very diverse subject. So I tried to make it as simple as I possibly could. I'm sorry if it's not all completely like clear as the sky. I hope you can kind of take something from this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really, really hope you enjoyed this Enchanted Endeavours episode all about how I personally cast a circle, what casting a circle is, etc, etc. I'll see you later on this week with another video. That won't be an Enchanted Endeavours episode, but the Enchanted Endeavours episode will be up next week. I really, really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you out even a little bit. Thank you so much for 190,000 subscribers and 160,000 followers on Instagram. It means the world to me. It's so freaking cool. You guys are the best audience in the whole entire world. I appreciate you all so much, and I will see you soon. Bye guys. Woo!